Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula was forced to suspend the House yesterday after it descended into chaos. EFF members raising various points of order just seconds into President Cyril Ramaphosa's address.
Well, Parliament has apologised for what it calls distasteful scenes over the past 2 days. So let's get more from Parliamentary Spokesperson Mothapo. Moloto, always a pleasure speaking to you. A very good morning to you. Let's talk a little bit about what has been transpiring in Parliament over the past 2 days. I think the most growing concern is that all of this is happening amongst our leaders, those that have been charged to lead the Republic of South Africa, and it's unfolding in front of the public, not necessarily instilling a sense of confidence even in our leaders' ability to even deal with some of the disagreements that are unfolding.
No, Faith, you are absolutely right. I mean, the members of society, the public, have elected members of Parliament to, to go and champion their causes, to go and, lead the battle against poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Those are the things that the ordinary man on the street, is expecting Parliament to achieve. And of course, when the president, who is the head of the state and the head of government, is appearing before Parliament on a matter as important as the budget of his department, to account on how the finances of the previous year were spent and what is a program for the coming financial year to address the socio-economic problems of our country. They expect that he will be given an opportunity to account to them through Parliament on what has been happening with regard to the plans to address those socio-economic problems. And unfortunately, when you have the very same people that have been elected to champion their cause are preventing or trying to prevent him from speaking and accounting to the public, it becomes a serious cause of concern. And indeed, the Speaker of the National Assembly has condemned the behavior and, as you're correctly saying, apologized to the South Africans to say that as Parliament, they deserve better from Parliament. They deserve a better conduct from members of Parliament. They deserve a very orderly a way of resolving the disagreements amongst their politicians and public representatives.
Moloto, does the apology to South Africans include that of the behavior of the parliamentary security, or does Parliament stand by how the security handled the members of the EFF?
Well, the Speaker, as she has said yesterday, she has noted the complaints that have been raised by the members of the EFF with regard to the manner in which some of their members were allegedly treated during the course of their eviction from the chamber. That matter will be looked into, it will be investigated. But of course, we must also emphasize that there are two members of the chamber protection officers that were injured, that were assaulted, that were intimidated allegedly by members of the EFF. And yesterday, they were receiving medical attention. And of course, they opened their cases with the Cape Town Police of assault and intimidation. So those are matters that particularly this one, that Parliament will be supporting. But of course, Parliament will also investigate those claims that were made against the chamber protection officers.
Yeah, as you're speaking about the way in which security, for example, you're saying that they have also reported allegations of assault on their behalf. The Economic Freedom Fighters was also speaking during parliamentary proceedings about how women were sexually assaulted upon their removal within the chambers themselves, which is a very serious allegation and accusation during a time where South Africa has to grapple with gender-based violence. To have parliamentarians say we were sexually assaulted is not something for Parliament to take lightly, as we can imagine. In that sense, and with the unfolding that's happened within the past few days, Moloto, is there a better way that Parliament can actually institute the removal of parliamentarians should the need arise? We're not saying that let them not be removed. But is there no better or alternative way to remove members from the chambers without having what unfolded within the past 2 days in front of South Africans actually take place? Do we have an alternative as yet?
Well, if there is any suggestion that can come to Parliament regarding how this can be done, I'm sure Parliament would like to hear that, because that is a standard the world over in all parliaments. And we must also emphasize that the forceful removal from the House is not the first option. It is a last option, a last resort. A member of Parliament who is found to have transgressed or breached the rules of the Assembly, which, by the way, were created by members of Parliament themselves, is asked by the presiding officer to withdraw. And if they refuse to withdraw, they are asked to withdraw from the House voluntarily, because refusing to obey the instruction of the presiding officer is a serious violation, and it impedes the business of the House. So if the member of Parliament refuses to voluntarily withdraw, is then that the chamber protection officers is asked to assist the member to leave. And ordinarily, it shouldn't be a matter of a fight, of a scuffle. It must be something that the Sergeant-at-Arms just leads a particular member of Parliament out of the chamber. However, we have seen previously a situation whereby there will be some kind of a resistance. There will be a member of Parliament who is fighting the chamber protection officers, and that is where then it becomes very ugly. But it's a standard practice that is happening in parliaments all over. That's why every parliament has got what we call sergeant-at-arms.
Moloto, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us on the South African Morning. That is Moloto Mothapo, the parliamentary spokesperson. Of course, she's speaking to us about the scenes that unfolded at Parliament.